friends, welcome to Tricks. Today in this video we will learn about Panchayati Raj System, their evolution through different committees and trick to remember the committees and suggestions given by them. Although the tradition of Panchayati Raj Sabhas and Samitis are very old in our country, but it was first Lord Mayo who formed urban local bodies in Madras. Then in 1882, Ripon brought some kind of decentralization in rural areas, and therefore Ripon is also known as father of decentralization in India. Then in 1907, Royal Commission on Decentralization was formed, and in 1919, through the Government of India Act 1919, also known as Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, diarchy in provinces was brought. Diarchy means there were two lists. Diarchy means that the state list was divided into two parts: transferred list and reserved list, and the subjects in this transferred list came under the direct control of the states. After independence, in our constitution, after independence, Panchayati Raj was included under directive principles of state policy under Article 40. In 1952, the government started community development program. In 1957, a committee was formed known as Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, which suggested that there should be three-tier system in Panchayati Raj. Three-tier system means there should be one district level unit, then one at block level, third one at village level. This was suggested by Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. In 1977, Ashok Mehta Committee was appointed by Janta government, which suggested a two-tier system instead of three-tier, in which there should be one Jila Parishad at the district level and a mandal, the mandal which would consist of group of villages. Ashok Mehta Committee submitted their report in 1978. Again in 1978, Dantwala Committee was appointed by the Planning Commission. This committee suggested for block level planning. In 1984, Hanumant Rao Committee was established. Hanumant Rao Committee suggested for people's participation. There were many things suggested by these committees, but I am just mentioning the core of their suggestion, which are often asked in the examination. So Hanumant Roy suggested people's participation is important for the success of Panchayati Raj system. And let me tell you one thing. Based on the Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, which suggested for three-tier system, it was the state Rajasthan which established Panchayati Raj system. So Rajasthan was the first state which had Panchayati Raj system. Then in 1985, GVK Rao Committee was formed and it suggested revival of Panchayati Raj system. And finally, in 1986, it was L.M. Singhvi's committee which suggested giving constitutional status to the Panchayati Raj system. For giving constitutional status, 64th amendment was introduced in the parliament, but it was not passed by the Rajya Sabha. Finally, it was in 1992 and it was the government of P.V. Narasimha Rao that 73rd and 74th amendment was passed and the Panchayati Raj system got the constitutional status. Let us have a look at some important provisions given through this amendment. Panchayati Raj system was included in the constitution under part 9 of the constitution. Remember this fact also. And there were two provisions. One was compulsory and another was voluntary. Compulsory means the state had to include these provisions when they would form the Panchayati Raj in their states. Before the 72nd and 73rd amendment, the Panchayati Raj system was included in DPSP, which meant that it was the discretion of states whether they formed Panchayati Raj in their state or not. But now, after having constitutional status, states were bound to form local self-government system in their states. And under that, compulsory provisions were that the Panchayati Raj will be of 5 years tenure, and as soon as the tenure ends, election will be held within 6 months. To contest the election, one should be of 21 years of age. It also provided for reservation of 1/3 seats for women. It is a compulsory provision every state must provide at all the three levels. It also provided for reservation of seats for SC and ST at all the three levels, panchayat, block and district level. Another mandatory provision was formation of state election commission. Now remember that state election commission conducts the election of Panchayati Raj. State election commission does not means that it conducts election for states. That work is done by the Election Commission of India, and this state election commission conducts the election of panchayats at all the three levels. State finance commission was also to be formed. It also came under mandatory provision, and this state finance commission would suggest the state for the distribution of finances between the state and the units of local self government. Under the voluntary provisions, the devolution of powers also was under the discretion of the state, how much power they were going to devolve to the units, to the local units. Devolution of financial powers was also voluntary provisions. Financial powers means authorization for taxation and all that things. Representation to MPs and MLAs in the local bodies also depend on the state government. Reservation of seats to backward classes also come under the voluntary provisions, because in the definition of backward class differ from state to state, so it comes under the voluntary provision of the state for providing reservation of seats to backward classes. However, reservation of seats to for SC and ST comes under mandatory provisions. So these are some important facts related to the Panchayati Raj system. Let me give you a trick to remember all the committees and the suggestions given by them, because in multiple choice questions you may be asked questions related to this. I formed a trick, a small story to remember all the committees and the suggestions given by them. I am very much fascinated with queens, so I found my story around a queen. There is a Queen Mary who drove her royal Ford in the community, balancing on three tires. She tried to balance her car on three tires. Her secretary Ashok followed her on the motorcycle, as it was dangerously planned block. The community in which she was driving was planned very dangerously. This resulted in her hitting the Hanuman Mandir. She hit the Hanuman Mandir and people gathered, giving suggestions to revive it. Obviously, when people gathered, they start giving their suggestions how to revive that mandir, how to revive that temple. So the king gave it a permanent status to resolve the issue. Now let me relate this story to the committees. Queen Mary. Here Mary stands for MA for Mayo and RI for ribbon. There is one more trick to remember the evolution of Panchayati Raj before independence. Just a simple sentence: Mayo ribbed royal mountain. Lord Mayo ribbed ribbon Royal Commission on Decentralization mountain Montague Chelmsford reform. Let us move to our story again. MA stood for Mayo, RI for ribbon, drove her. Royal is for Royal Commission on Decentralization. Ford stands for Montague Chelmsford reform 1919 or Montford. In the community. Community stands for Community Development Program. Balancing. It stands for Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. BAL for Balwant Rai Mehta Committee. So balancing is for Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, which suggested three-tier system. So balancing or three tiers means Balwant Rai Mehta Committee suggestions for Panchayati Raj, that was three-tier system. Her secretary Ashok followed her on the motorcycle. After Balwant Rai Mehta Committee, Ashok Mehta Committee was appointed, which suggested two-tier system. And here Ashok is traveling on motorcycle, which is a two-wheeler. So in this way you can remember that Ashok Mehta suggested two-tier system. Then it was dangerously planned block. Here DAN stands for Dantwala Committee. You can relate Dantwala to dangerously. Visualize a person who has long protruding teeth and is looking very dangerous. So Dantwala relates to dangerous. It was dangerously planned block, and Dantwala suggested planning at block level. So the dangerously planned block relates to Dantwala Committee's suggestions planning at block level. She hit the Hanuman Mandir. After Dantwala Committee, we had Hanumant Rao Committee. So Hanuman stands for Hanumant Rao Committee, and people gathered. Hanumant Rao committee suggested for people's participation. So people gathering means people's participation, suggestion by Hanumant Rao committee. Here giving stands for GVK Rao. GV, give. With GV you can relate it to giving. GVK Rao committee, and GVK Rao's committee suggested for revival of PRI. So giving suggestions to revive. Revive stands for revival of PRI. So the king gave it permanent status. King relates to Singh. Singh is king, and we have here LM Singhvi committee. So relate king with LM Singhvi committee, who gave it permanent status. LM Singhvi suggested for constitutional status, and constitutional status means permanent status. So relate it to permanent relates to constitutional. Let us revive one more time. Queen Mary means Mayo Ripon drove her royal ford, Royal Commission, Montague Chelmsford, Community Development Program, Balwant Rai Mehta Committee's three-tier suggestion. Secretary Ashok followed her on motorcycle, Ashok Mehta Committee's two-tier suggestion. Dangerously planned block, Dantwala's committee's block level planning. Hanuman Mandir, Hanumant Rao, people gathered, people's participations. Giving suggestions to revive, GVK Rao committee suggestion to revive the PRI, and King gave it permanent status. LM Singhvi suggested for constitutional status. So this was the trick to remember all the committees and suggestions given by them. I hope you like the trick and the story also. Please give me your feedback and give a thumbs up if you like this trick. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.